The problem is they're getting way too cool for their own good.
Yeah, they just don't fit in.
Surfers suck! You suck! Oh, shit! Yeah.
We'll teach them a lesson they won't forget.
Well, well, what do we have here?
Hey, man, what did I do?
It's not what you done. It's what you are. A surfer.
This ain't cool. Come on, we can work it out. Give me a break, come on. What do you want, my shirt? Come on, just a surfer.
We interrupt this program for an urgent news bulletin. The Weather Service has reported that giant shock waves are headed this way. All real surfers are urged to grab their boards and hit the beach.
Take this, greaseball.
I don't believe it.
Surfing, it was boss way back then, and it's still happening today. It's a lifestyle that, despite its rapidly changing eras, has lost none of its basic appeal, the thrill of riding waves. And as long as those waves keep rolling in, surfers will always be there to meet them. It's an incredible thing surfers do when you stop and think about it. Paddling out, he can leave the world behind. Here, the surfer draws his own line. The style is constant. The individual approach endlessly changing with each new wave. He can't beat the wave. He'll never break it or bend it to his will. In this sense, the ocean always wins. But every wave has its own rhythm, its own tempo, and the surfer seeks to match it with that of his own. The surfer stands alone on his board. No one can help him. There are no rules. There's nothing to guide him but the natural path offered by each wave and the limits of his own imagination. With nothing more than his natural ability, his audacity, he can harness this incredible source of natural energy. What a surfer looks for is that one peak moment when all the elements come together. He can exist for that fragile moment as pure and elemental as the wave itself. In reaching that point, there is a victory and the pride of being a surfer.
Gotta get to Rocky! Oh, Rocky Point, Dawn Patrol! Gotta get to Rocky, Dawn Patrol, Dawn Patrol! Whoa, watch out!
Whoa, ah!
The Dawn Patrol is one of surfing's most sacred rituals, searching for those elusive conditions that only come with the dawn. Californians are no strangers to the Dawn Patrol, and old habits die hard. In Hawaii, Tommy Curran is up before the sun and into Rocky Point before the rooster crows. It's a special time, Hawaii on the North Shore. A private time, and Tommy reaps the rewards, clean and glassy. Tommy likes this time. He can relax and cut loose in the clean Hawaiian juice, feeling out his board and loosening up for the day ahead. Most surfers are just getting out of bed. He's already slipping into the day's first little tube. The waves at Rocky Point are good today. A hot surfer like Lonnie Burns knows Rocky Point like the back of his hand. He's surfed it through every mood, and he can afford to sleep in if he wants. Why not? It's all happening in his own backyard. And he can take any wave he wants. Of course, he sometimes runs into other locals doing the same thing. Good morning, Johnny boy. By 10 a.m., the tropical sun is up. The lighting's perfect. Bud Lamas surfs Rocky Point more than most mainlanders. Moves like these have earned him visiting dignitary status. Aki doesn't care, but then Bud was in front of somebody too. So who's right? Who's wrong? Bud doesn't take it too seriously, though. The swell builds, the offshores pick up, and the session hits its stride. Now's when the big guns arrive. Guys like Hans Hedemann, a top pro, respected anywhere he surfs. He holds a permanent lease on Rocky Point real estate, no matter how much time he spends on the tour. When Hans hits the water, surfers scramble for cover as he feeds his voracious appetite for waves and high performance. This kind of action doesn't go unnoticed. Marvin Foster appears on the scene, checking things out. He knows that with Hans out, the fight for available waves will be tough. He'll have to charge. Rocky Point loves Marvin. His pure Hawaiian style fits perfectly in its embrace. Using a longer board than most, he knows things other Rocky Point surfers have never learned. Joining him for the afternoon session is Marvin's surfing buddy, Mickey Nielsen. The push begins. Every consecutive wave is ridden a little deeper, a bit harder. Mickey and Marv have been doing this for years. It keeps Mickey pushing the limits. It keeps Marvin on his toes. A heavy mixture of free surfing and friendly competition. You just never want great days like this to end. Martin Potter, better known as Potts. As one of the most progressive surfers in the world today, he sets the pace for an entire generation. In a class by himself, Potts surfs a dream day at Backdoor. And in these uncrowded conditions, we get a whole new perspective on this versatile young performer. Martin's pure, uncluttered approach perfectly matches the tempo of the waves. Color him stylish. Potts has never been a follower. His surfing has as many new facets as the waves he rides. Get him out from behind the clean green and then color him radical. In the old days, just getting out to Sunset was an adventure. And instead of trying to get away from the other surfers, you brought your own crowd with you. Scott, because it was his car, Bob, because he had the gas money, and everybody else to help push in case you got stuck. It might be easier to get to Sunset these days, but it's certainly no easier to ride. Since surfers first started riding the North Shore 30 years ago, Sunset has always been the bottom line in big wave performance. It takes a combination of skill, courage, and total concentration to handle its shifty peaks. Big ground swells charge down out of the Pacific and pile up onto Sunset's fabled reefs. The first challenge for any surfer who wants to ride Sunset is the inside bowl. In its pitching, unpredictable tubes, the surfer walks the fine line between control and abandon, constantly flirting with the ragged edge of disaster. Suddenly, a giant west peak will roll in and catch everybody by surprise. When this happens, surfers know the stakes have been raised. Guys stuck out on their 610s will take off on anything to get in. And just when they think they've got their ticket to the beach, there's that pesky inside bowl again. When Sunset maxes out, it always seems to shut down with a vengeance. Then it's time to go to Waimea. The ancient Hawaiians used to offer up sacrifices to their gods here. The surfers still do. Imagine you grabbed your big gun and paddled out, and there you are, faced with Waimea Bay, the biggest rideable waves in the world. You have to start asking yourself, am I up to this? All of a sudden, your 9.6 gun seems more like a popsicle stick. Even when you do make the drop, it's no guarantee. At Waimea, there's a million ways to eat it. And the feeling you get when you do finally make one, nothing even comes close. Then it happens. The horizon goes dark, and surfers desperately scramble for safety. A killer set. But Waimea at this size is no laughing matter. Where do you go when the biggest wave in the world closes out?
This swell's gonna be perfect for Maui, man.
What, you mean you don't want to go out at closed out Waimea?
Well, I'll go out if you'll go out.
A trip to the outer islands is always a gamble. Checking it out from the plane, your heart starts pumping. You know it's happening. All that's left is to hop in your rent-a-rust bucket and power out through the cane fields to a special place where you know it's going to be classic. And you and your friends are going to be the only guys out. Or so surfers have been telling themselves ever since they started going to Honolulu Bay. Today, it's a bit easier to get to Honolulu. Flights leave Honolulu on the hour, and surfing's new jet set can mobilize in town at 7 a.m., catch a flight at 8, and be paddling out into the down-the-line perfection of Honolulu Bay by 10 a.m. Michael Ho has been coming here for years. He does all right for an Oahu boy. Hans Hedemann has made the flight a number of times, obviously. The airfares have gone up, but for Vince Klein, it's worth every penny. Sean Thompson made his first trip to Honolulu Bay this winter, just to see what all the fuss was about. He didn't have to look long. Sean got right into the bay like he'd been surfing it all his life. Later, he called this session one of the best he's had in over 20 years of surfing. Michael brought his younger brother Derek over for his Maui debut, and he laid down some impressive backside groundwork. Michael knows Honolulu inside and out. He's pretty stoked. Sure, it gets hectic. It's crowded and there's plenty of rip-offs. But the feeling you get on even just one wave at Honolulu Bay makes it well worth the trip. The good thing about being in an island chain is that the swell Maui enjoys tonight will be hitting further down the line in the morning. The Big Island, little known and understood even less, ringed by a chain of volcanic fire, it's the newest spot on Earth. Where else can you look up from a palm-lined beach onto a snow-capped volcano? The real Hawaii is close to the surface in this awesome land that nature is still shaping. Sunrise finds Mark Akalupo paddling out through crystal-clear water to a secluded left point. A natural reserve. It's like paddling back in time. But there is a significance in Aki's desire to surf this spot. It was here that the great English explorer, Captain James Cook, first discovered surfing in 1778. And it was also here, 1 year later, that he was killed by Hawaiian warriors. Aki is from the town of Cronulla, the very spot Captain Cook first landed when he discovered the continent of Australia. A spiritual presence can be felt, and Aki's surfing takes on an entirely new rhythm. The solitude was something new for Aki, having grown up along crowded Cronulla beaches and later on the Pro Tour. Surfing completely alone brought a satisfaction he never knew existed. That's why he came. That's what he's been looking for in the islands. Mark was captivated by the entire Big Island experience. Its fringe of lonely black sand beaches, the relentless swells that batter its rugged lava coastline, and lush valleys. It was to this primordial land that Aki brought his own brand of red-hot surfing. Top pro bodyboarder Mike Stewart is a longtime local in this area, and he's been surfing the Big Island's shallow reefs for years. Mike had heard that Aki was in town and quickly challenged him to a session at a well-known gnarly low-tide break. What he didn't tell Aki was that he grew up riding this spot. Aki, never one to back down from a challenge, came out firing on all cylinders. What started out as a showdown turned into a freewheeling expression session. Watch this, Aki. Let's try that again. Looking good. Now try these rights. No worries, mate. Show off, sore loser. Loser, I won. You won, I won. No, you didn't, I did. Didn't you see that too? Well, I got air. Yeah, well, you suck. The violence, the intensity, the exhilaration, the legacy of Pipeline. This is top pro skater Christian Hosoi from Venice and Lester Kasai from Anaheim. On a recent trip to Arizona, they met up at a backyard ramp and triggered a killer sesh. After a few stand-up grinds to loosen up the kinks, the boys got down to some serious bio air. Nah. Steve Sneer from the Zone had a few tricks up his sleeve, like this gnarly ho-ho plant, while Mondo attacked with a heavy surf style. Yeah, it's a skater's life. Skate all day, party all night, sleep all morning. There's something special about surfing in California. A clear spring morning, tugging on cold wetsuits, scaling cliffs to be the first guys out. Getting out through a chilly shore break with your hair dry and sharing smooth, glassy waves with your friends. It's all part of classic California. Today, not much has changed. It's still as fun. And though you've got warm wetsuits and stairs down to the beach, there's nothing more stoking than hitting it first thing in the morning in springtime California. Matt Archibald and Brad Gerlach are two surfers who represent the spirit of California surfing. On any given morning, they can be found out surfing their home breaks, just having fun. Jamming with their friends on the clean, glassy walls. And what better way to start off the day? It's a perfect time to cut loose, to try something new. The feeling's contagious. This could be a future star watching his hero from the shore break. That's the great thing about surfing in California. Where it is where it's at. Friends always seem to drop by. Mike Parsons is into his own thing, smooth and precise. He fits right in. Jimmy Hogan's out enjoying the conditions. Picture perfect for young surfers and photographers alike. It happens like this on every beach on any morning. What California surfing is all about. It's now, it's fun, and it feels good. Word travels fast in California, and all it takes is the rumor of a good northwest swell to trigger a Rincon rally. Don't ask how a surfer knows. He just feels it in the soles of his feet, coming up through the cracks in the sidewalk. What a gut wrench. He knows how perfect it's going to be. He can just imagine himself taking off and sliding into one of those smooth, endless walls. Forget work. Nothing else matters to a real surfer but to get there as soon as he can. It can drive a surfer to desperate measures. Nobody has to point out Rincon. It's there for all to see and enjoy. Tommy Curran is one of the few who gets waves to himself, and for good reason. He's the best surfer in the world. Hot kids from down south survive the freeways only to get stuck in Rincon's rush hour. But if you get one alone, it's like a blank canvas. You can just stand there and throw paint at it, or create a masterpiece like Dave Parmenter does here on his very first ride at Rincon. Curran finds in Rincon a wave to match his own creative moods. But then he grew up here. This guy's only been surfing Rincon 5 minutes. Snodgrass, on the other hand, has been riding here since 1938. He's seen it all. mobile Matt Archibald makes the scene and heads out into the afternoon shadows, only to find traffic a little congested. When the guy in front of you outweighs you by a couple of 100 pounds, you've got no alternative but to just rip the wave behind him. Eventually, everybody gets their share. Kim Merrick cruises down from her home on the hill. Jamie George represents the next generation. Rincon takes all kinds. You can just hear this surfer telling his buddies, "Yeah, man, me and the champ were ripping Rincon." Jeff Novak finishes up his day with a beauty. California surfing, good to the last drop. Waikiki, once just a quiet little Hawaiian beach. But now she's all grown up.
Is this the line? Is this the line? Is this the line?
One crazy town. Still, surfers like Button seem to somehow make sense of it all. So, how do you find Waikiki? Just follow the rainbow.
In the old days, men took to the surf on rafts, and though they were a lot of fun, they weren't too cool. And you know how surfers feel about cool. Heaven forbid if your friend should catch you riding on your belly.
Get him!
This'll teach you to ride laying down, you hodad.
Yeah, stand up like a man.
Give him a pink belly.
And don't forget the rib roast and a Dutch rub.
Well, look who's laughing now. Today's bodyboarding is a full-on sport, and these guys are riding waves as deep as any surfer. With their fast, flexible bodyboard, they've declared open season on waves that aren't even makeable on conventional surfboards. It's a world of radical tubes, of maneuvers previously only dreamed about. People say you gotta be crazy to ride waves like this on a 3-foot piece of foam. And they just might be right. was aboard the SS Guppy, caught in the worst storm in 20 years. Finally, Captain Ho gave the order, abandon ship! The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted tropical island. Captain Ho's first order of business was to secure food and shelter. You call that a well-tied knot? No, I said it was not tied well. We'll try later.
There goes supper.
Maybe Stuart's having better luck. In order to catch a crab, you gotta think like a crab. Ooh. From that point on, it was merely a hellish fight for survival. But while I was kept busy hunting for my dinner, Captain Ho and Mr. Potts snagged plenty of everything, and they didn't share any of it with me.
I want to go surfing. I want to go
Wake
surfing.
up, Mike. Come on.
I want to go
The boat's
surfing.
here. You're dreaming.
I want to go surfing. I want...
It was horrible. Stranded on an island with perfect surf, and all I caught was crabs. Well, maybe you'll have a little better luck on this island, Mike. I heard you were putting the bag on my gal yesterday, you rat fink. You are a dead man.
I'll find you. There's no place you can hide.
Hey, I was only after her mind.
You'll never get away with this.
When I get him.
While attending classes in classical Greek, it has to be football, Frankfurt literature, jam full of acts of which good girls don't speak. Hidden secrets locked inside. Slanted romances, their minds in a trance. I know that they're bound to be lost in a fantasy. I stand by passively waiting my chance. Empty secrets locked inside. You can run, but you cannot hide. By the size of your breast, you won't catch my eye with a flash of your thigh. I couldn't care less for that split in your dress, still make me sigh. I'll tell you why.
Surfboards have always been handmade, each as individual as the surfer who rides it. Shane Horan takes this concept one step further. Testing bizarre new shapes is how Shane keeps his mojo working. Michael Ho prefers conventional boards, ridden in an unconventional manner. This is Off the Wall on Oahu's famous North Shore, probably the most photographed surf spot in the world. Perfect lighting, perfect watercolor, and perfect hollow tubes make it surfing's Studio One. If you want to see or be seen, this is the place. The amazing thing is that with just a few more feet of swell, the surfing along this stretch of beach takes on a whole new direction. When this happens, a surfer inevitably finds himself face to face with the Bonsai Pipeline. The pipeline where a surfer's grace under pressure is ultimately defined. The surfing life puts you in touch with the world's greatest forms of energy. There's a wealth of experience to be found from the moment you ride your first wave. Surfers share a privileged form of communication with the natural world that surrounds them. Translating it into their own unique forms of expression. But it's more than just the act of riding a wave. It's a romantic lifestyle. It's the feeling you get on that last wave. It's the camaraderie that comes from understanding this richness. It's why we surf.